today, Matt? Have you got, what vintage are you going for?
No, I've got the same as last week. I'm not quite ready for Magnums. And then I'm going to go with the Magnums, I think.
How much does a Magnum weigh? Have you given it away? I imagine that's quite hefty.
Well, it's 1.5 kilos wide, and then the bottom, so I reckon it'll be about 2.2, something like that.
Raising the game. You're just going to do a lot for your grip strength as well. I mean, those are quite wide bottles to hold, eh?
No, and the twist, I get the extra twist.
Awesome stuff. So, yeah, we're going to get started very soon. So, welcome on in. This is Sculpt 4. So, we have got 2 minutes to go. So, grab your weights. Remember, you can stick on some tunes via the Spotify link on our website, or you can also just go into Spotify and search for Rise with a 1 and then any of the names of the classes, and that will bring up some tunes. What else to say? Just take it at your own pace. Remember, you can use the weights, you can lose the weights, whatever works for you. Do just take it at your own pace. So, yep, welcome on in. And when you're ready, let's start to come on down and find our way to a wide leg child's pose. So knees out wide towards the edges of the mat, big toes together, hips down to the heels. Just starting to set yourself up. Get comfortable, stretch out. And finding your way down there. So, stretching out into a child's pose. Starting to settle down, starting to find the breath. Awesome stuff. So you're all super welcome on into Sculpt 4. So remembering Sculpt, we're adding intensity to our yoga Pilates practice by using weights. We're thinking about getting into the back body, thinking about finding some dynamic movement. As always, remember you can lose the weights anytime, you can switch around between the weights. We're going to start off with a little non-weighted flow, and then we're going to take it up to 3 little flows and abs to finish. So when you're ready, just taking a few more breaths here, deep inhales into the back body, into the spine. Letting the chest and the shoulders release. Final deep breath in. And out. And from there, grounding down with the hands, rolling on up and finding your way to a table pose. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Think about squeezing the abdominals in. Think about pressing really hard with the hands into the mat. And when you're ready, cat-cow, let's go. So inhale, open the heart, stretch out through the chest. And exhale, press really hard with the hands into the mat, chin to chest, reaching the spine up to the sky. Head relaxes, shoulders open. Inhale, opening out through the chest, gaze lift, shoulders back, stretching out, nice job. And exhale, strong through the core, arch and lengthen, really pressing the floor away from you. One more, inhale, opening up through the heart. And exhale, tucking the toes, stretching back, finding your way to a downward facing dog. Just let Helena there. So stretching your way back to a downward facing dog. Thinking about spreading the fingers out really wide. Grounding down into the fingertips, into the second knuckle. Press as hard as you can with the hands into the mat and feel the hips lift high. From there, firm the upper arms away from each other. Squeeze the core. And if you want to start to have a little pedal out, a little shake out, feel free. So first down dog of the day, perhaps. So just starting to open up space in the back body. Maybe letting the spine extend. Inhale, reaching up, stretching up. And exhale, letting the chest sink through the arms. So deep, full breaths, lengthening and stretching out the back body, starting to feel that heat build. So you start to strengthen through the core, through the shoulders. Taking one more deep breath in. And from there, start to walk the feet towards the hands, finding your way into a floppy forward fold. So head and shoulders can relax down. Just maybe thinking about taking a little pedal through the legs or taking one hand in one elbow, one in the other. Maybe letting the hips come over the heels. So we're just thinking about that sensation of length, finding space in the back body, stretching out through the spine, releasing to gravity. Just taking one more deep breath in. And out. And from there, ground down with the feet, root to rise. Inhale, reaching up, stretching up, opening the heart to sky. Lovely little baby back bend. And exhale, hands to heart center. Awesome stuff. Let's start to flow. Inhale, reach up tall, stretch up. Engage the glutes, the quads, stretch to the sky. And exhale, swan dive, folding down, bending the knees if you need to. Hands plant, head drops, shoulders relax. On an inhale, find a long flat back. So bring the hands to the shins, squat strong through the core, squeeze, inhale. And exhale, plant the hands, hop, step, jump, and find your way to a plank pose. So hands underneath the shoulders and toes are stretching back. Make sure the core is engaged. Make sure the crown of the head is long, and we're trying to keep the hips in line with the shoulders. Start to feel the core engage. Won't be here too long, don't worry. We're just going to be here for another 3. Inhaling. Exhale, really start to engage the quads here. Turn the legs on, 2. Every muscle starting to work. 1 more breath in and out. From there, you're going to use the toes to move the body weight forwards, like trying to bring the head to the front of the mat, and then bend through the elbows, finding a low plank. Rolling onto the tops of the feet, point the toes, squeeze the glutes, up dog, stretching the chest through the arms, and exhale your way back to down dog. Feel free to reset your dog if you need to. The fingers are spread out wide, the pointer finger is facing forwards, the core is engaged. Really extend and reach up high. We're stretching out the back body, so thinking about length in the spine all the way, maybe even visualizing that space right from the tailbone all the way to the tip of the neck. Inhale, exhale. And from there, little bend of the knees, look to the hands, step or jump towards the hands. Inhale, find a long flat back, reaching out, stretching out. Exhale to fold. From there, ground down with the feet, root to rise. Inhale, stretching up, opening the heart to the sky. And exhale, 1 more flow to warm up. Hands plant, head drops. From there, we're going to inhale, bring the hands to the shins, stretching out. And exhale, refold. We're going to take that 3 more times. So just a little flowing forward fold. So inhale, extend the spine, bring the hips over the heels, long through the back. And exhale, relaxing down, head and shoulders release. 1 more time. Inhale, thinking about lengthening out with the spine, drawing the shoulders back, body is parallel to the mat, core switched on. And exhale, releasing down, floppy forward fold. From there, plant the hands, hop, step, jump, find your way back to a plank. Hands underneath the shoulders, we're going to start to build some heat. We're going to tap 1 hand to 1 foot, 1 to the other. So don't worry if you're not quite reaching all the way. We're just finding that sensation of twist as we move from plank, squeeze to dog. So little pike of the hips. If you just want to take a pike of the hips and miss out that little toe tap, you're very welcome to. So you can just move the body weight forwards and backwards, plank to dog, or you can add opposite hand to foot toe taps. So starting to build up some heat, starting to get a little bit of rotation through the spine, working here for 5. Really feel the core engaged. 4. Well done. 3. Almost there. 2. And 1. Stretch all the way back to a downward facing dog. Fingers are spread out wide, pointer finger facing forwards. Right foot rises up to the sky, engaging that right glute, thinking about scissoring the legs together, squeeze the core, left heel down to the mat. Inhale there, and exhale, knee to nose, squeezing in the abdominals. Inhale, reach high with that right foot, engage the glutes, and drive knee to nose, strong core. 1 more time, inhale, reach and extend, exhale, drive. From there, right foot to the sky, take the right heel to the bum. Start to stack the right hip over left. The left heel spins down to the mat, scorpion leg dog. Finding an opening through the hips and through the quad. Just taking 1 deep breath in and out. And then land the right foot outside the right hand, dropping the left knee down into lizard pose. So just set yourself up, make sure the right knee is over right ankle. That left foot can shimmy back if you like. And from there, we're going to inhale, move the body weight forwards, finding a stretch down this left hip flexor. And exhale, take a little stretch back, just reaching back until you find an opening through that hamstring. So inhaling forwards again, just a nice little dynamic stretch, shoulders back. And exhale, just taking a little movement back, really gentle opening into that hamstring. 1 more time, inhaling forward, shoulders back, stretch out. And exhale, rocking back, opening up through the hammies. 1 more inhale to move forwards, and exhale, tuck the toes, find your way back to down dog. Take a moment, set yourself up, find a little down dog, and let's go. Left foot rises, inhale. Remember, you're scissoring the legs together, that left glute is engaged, squeeze, inhale. Exhale, drive, knee to nose, strong core. Inhale, reach, extend up, squeeze that glute, and drive, knee to nose, squeezing and firing up the abs. 1 more time, inhale, reach up, stretch up tall, and drive, knee to nose, strong core. Inhale, lift that left foot, bending the left heel, left hip stacks above right heel is coming to the mat, pressing really hard with the hands into the mat, aiming to find a sense of lengthening through the side body. 1 more breath here, inhale, exhale, and then landing the left foot with control outside the left hand, dropping the right knee down. Feel free to set yourself up, make sure that left knee is over left ankle. If you need to move it, that left foot forwards, feel free. We're just going to flow it out from there. So inhale, moving the body weight forward, stretching out. And exhale, rock back, stretch back, opening through the hammies. So inhaling forward, shoulders back, lengthening out through the spine, stretching out. Exhale, just rocking back, lengthening back, finding space. One more time, inhaling forward, stretching forwards. Exhale, rocking back, just gently, dynamically opening up the hammies. Moving forwards again, inhale, and exhale, stretch back, down dog. Hips up high, strong core, lengthening out through the whole back body, and just take a deep breath in. And perfect. From there, bend the knees, look to hands, hop, step, jump towards the hands. Inhale, long, flat backward, extend. Exhale to fold. Grounding down with the feet, root to rise, lift, extend up tall. And bring hands to heart center there. All right, from there you might want to grab your weights. If you're working with weights today, I'm going to work with my slightly heavier ones, but all of these are great with any weight. And we're going to move into our first little exercise. So we're going to move into our first little flow. So we're going to start off with a straight leg deadlift into a high pull. So the feet are hip distance apart, the core is engaged. What we're going to do here is we're going to stick the bum out behind us. What you're aiming to do is keep the spine long and the shoulders back. So think about moving the weight into the toes slightly, extending, squeezing in the core. So the legs are straight or a slight micro bend, and then we're squeezing the core, floating up. And we're going to lift the weights to the chin, the elbows come in the air, and then we're going to go again. So squeeze the core, lengthen. When you're lengthening, you want to be slow, you want to be controlled, you want to feel the core and the quads are engaged, you're lifting up, and then we're taking this high pull, weights to the chin, elbows to the sky. So working the hamstrings, we're getting flexibility and we're working strength. You want to keep that core engaged, the spine long. So don't feel like you're just letting the torso flop down. Focus on extending, stretching out. It's almost like you bring the crown of the head away from the hips and then squeeze the core, power on up, and we're taking that little high pull. We're getting right into the back body. So lots of work today on strengthening the back muscles. Quite a hard area to get into without weights, with body weight alone. So really nice to work our weights here. And a really important area to strengthen for spinal health. So thinking about sending the hips out, squeezing in the core lower, and lift. Squeezing the elbows to the sky. Great job. One more time. Sending the hips out behind you. Squeeze the core, long spine. And then power on up, squeeze up. Perfect, release. From there, we're going to step back with the left foot. So we're finding our way into a lunge. We're going to find a diagonal lunge. And make sure you take the feet at a point which is comfortable. So make sure you've got a nice steady base. You can take the feet quite wide if you need to. Right knee over right ankle, angling the body forwards here. Thinking about drawing this right foot backwards, so this right hip moves backwards, powering into this left quad, so you feel really sturdy in your legs. Moving the body weight forwards slightly, so you've got one line from heel to head. The grip is facing upwards here, and we're going to take 3 rows. So we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together. So a row, we're aiming to really work the back body, so feel that row there, so squeeze and lower. So palm up, we're getting right into that middle back. Taking 3 rows. From there, we're going to hinge, strong core, rotate, and press the hands to the sky. So it's a little Arnold press, getting into the biceps, into the chest, and that hinge, we're working the abdominals. So squeezing in the core. We're going to take 3 rows, so really powering into the back body. And then from there, we're going to squeeze the core, focus on that careful lift, and then we're going to rotate and press, working into the shoulders, the biceps, the chest. So thinking about working the legs here as well, we're getting a nice deep burn into that right quad. We're getting into the back body, squeezing the core to lift the torso back up to the sky, pressing up, we're working to the abdominals, into the shoulders, into the chest. Remember, try and feel that sensation, try and feel where the work is. Working here for 1 more set after this one. So 3 rows, 1 press after this. Thinking about engaging the muscles, thinking about trying not to rush it, move with control. Squeeze and press. And from there, release. We're going to drop this left knee down, and we're just going to take a quick little stretch. So left knee comes down, left hand plants, right hand up to the sky. You can roll onto the outer edge of that right leg if you like. Just opening out through the hips, stretching out through the chest, deep breath in. And from there, right hand plants. Right knee moves back, and we're into a table pose. So we're going to take a row into a tricep extension from table or from plank. So planting your right hand down, we're going to take the left, squeeze the left elbow past the rib cage, and then extend it out behind us, return, and lower. So we're squeezing the left elbow past the rib cage, and then we extend it, keeping that elbow in. It's quite a fiery one. If you need to just lose that tricep extension and just work a row, you're very welcome to. So we're thinking about working into the back body again and into the triceps. This is the muscle that helps us with our low plank, so super important to fire up. If you want to come up to a plank here, you're very welcome to, or you can work in table. Think about maybe taking the feet slightly wider than you might normally in your plank. You've got to keep the core engaged and try and focus on stability. So either rowing from plank or from table. Remember, the core is engaged, the spine is long. You're lowering, you're drawing that elbow past the rib cage, extending out behind you, working here for another 3. So moving slowly with control, 2. And 1, lose that weight, find your way to plank. And either straight to down dog or use the toes, move the body weight forwards, lower through low plank. Inhaling to up dog, exhaling your way down dog, stretching up high, reaching up, take a breath in. And from there, bending the knees, hop to hands. Inhale, find a long flat back, stretching out. Exhale to fold. Grabbing your weights while you're down there. And coming back up to standing. So you can either take the straight leg deadlift we took on the last round, or if you're feeling it, we're going to have a go with a single leg deadlift. So moving the weight into the right foot, right quad is engaged, core is engaged, left glute is engaged. We're going to slowly, keeping the shoulders back, extend forwards, balance forward, and drive up strong through the core. Keeping that left leg engaged, that left glute switched on. So again, we're working on that hamstring, we're working on balance, working on strength. So a little float up and down. We're going to take 3 on one leg and then switch over. So slow and controlled. Swapping over. Left foot is going to ground. Right toes coming out behind you, strong through the core. And we're going to slowly seesaw down, thinking about moving with control and then feeling the legs fire up as you come back up through center. Remember, you're keeping the core switched on for the full duration of this movement, the shoulders back. That right leg is fired up. Perfect. 1 more, little lower. Slow and controlled. And lift. Nice job. From there, we're going to keep that left foot forward. We're going to bring the right foot back, so we're finding our way back into a lunge. Left knee over left ankle. Remember, find a point that feels comfortable. You're going to draw this left foot and this left hip back. Power really hard into the outer edge of that right foot. Angle the body forwards. Grip comes to the sky, so we're finding our reverse grip rows, angling the body forward, strong core, feel that quad fire. Let's go. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and lower the arms. So it's a squeeze and lower. 1 more, squeeze and lower, and then we're going to lift up into that row, squeeze the core, lift the torso, rotate and press. Remember to return the weights with control. You're getting loads of work there. You're still working the biceps, the shoulders, and then we're moving back into that diagonal. We've got those 3 reverse rows. Remember, the elbows stay tucking into the rib cage, strong core. We've got a hinge, and then we're going to press overhead. So we're thinking about getting into the back body, remember. So feel that squeeze in the shoulder blades. We're getting into the core, so feel that core fire up in the hinge, and then we're pressing, opening out up to the sky, getting into the shoulders, biceps. So working here, try and keep the legs controlled. I know that left leg is definitely starting to burn for me, so we're just going to work here just a little bit longer, getting loads of work into that quad and that glute. Super important to strengthen. Squeeze the core to lift and press. 1 more round here, so angling the body forwards with control. 3 reverse grip rows, squeezing, really feeling that power there. And then squeeze, lift, strong core, press the sky, and release. Nice job. So dropping your right knee down there, left knee is over left ankle, right hand is going to plant, and inhale, the left hand comes up to the sky. Maybe rolling onto the outer edge of that left leg, if it feels comfortable. We're just finding that lovely stretch out through the chest, through the outer edge of that left leg for 3. Deep breaths in, and out, opening out 2, And one, great job. Returning to a table pose or to plank. And we're going to take that row with a tricep extension. So we're taking the weight, squeezing the elbow past the rib cage, and then extending that arm straight out behind us and lowering again. So remember, the core is engaged, the spine is long. You're feeling that work in the back body and then in the tricep, the back of the arm. You can lose that tricep extension. So if you just want to row, bringing up and that weight up and down, feel free. Try to keep the core switched on and the spine neutral here. So we're going to take an opening and a rotation through the chest next. Try and keep the body facing to the mat here so you really get into the back body. If you want more, remember you can come up and take this from a plank. So thinking about moving with control, thinking about that core staying engaged. We got this. Keep the legs fired up, the core fired up. Try to focus on stability. Working here for 5. Remember, they've got the breath. It's going to really help you out. 4. Keep that focus on inhaling, exhaling. 3. Nice job. 2. And 1. Release. Lose your weights. Find your way up to plank if you're not already there. And when you're ready, use the toes. Move the body weight forwards. Bend the elbows. Low plank. Inhaling, up dog. Squeeze the glutes. Chest through arms. Up dog. Exhaling your way to a downward facing dog. Hips up high, strong through the core, lengthening out through the back body, maybe having a little pedal, little shake out for 3. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Relax and chest through the arms. 2. And 1. Bend the knees, hop to hands. Inhale, long flat back, stretching out, reaching out long. Exhale to fold. From there, we're grabbing our weights again. Find your way up to standing. And from there, we are going to take a chair. So we're going to come down into a chair. And we're going to take the weights to the face here. The elbows are moving backwards. So it's not quite the same as that high pull where the elbows were in the air. This time, the elbows are going to be backwards. And then we're going to move. So we're going to extend the arms out in front of us. Stand up to straight. And then squeezing into a chair. Squeezing the elbows behind us. So again, we're getting into the back body and into the shoulders. We're getting loads of work through the legs as well. What I want you to do here is try and keep that chair controlled. So remember, knees are over ankles, core is engaged, the hips come out behind you, weight into the heels, and then we're going to extend, press away. So moving with control, sink down, squeeze the legs, feel those quads fire up, and press away. Nice job. Working here for 5. So try and feel that control, feel that squeeze. 4. Remember, got the abs switched on to support all of these movements. 3. Almost there. 2. 1 more. And release there. Take the weights to the chest. And we're going to step back into a warrior 1. So warrior 1, the whole outer edge of that left foot is grounded. The hips are steering towards the short side of the mat. Right knee is over right ankle. So slightly different from our last one. We've got the whole of the left foot grounded. We're steering the hips. We're finding a slight tuck of the pelvis. So we're really getting into this left hip flexor. Right knee is over right ankle. Strong through the core. From there, we're going to take the weights overhead, and you can either take the weights together or you can leave them apart. So whatever works for you, I'm going to use them together today. And we're just going to extend the weights over the head and then back up to the sky. What I want you to do here is try and focus on feeling that you can just about see your elbows in your eyes range. So we're keeping those elbows tucked in, and we're slowly extending and pressing. Keep powering into the legs, thinking about drawing that left hip forwards, that right foot back, so we're really finding strength in the legs. The core is engaged, the spine is long. So a little lower, and extend. Great job. Awesome stuff. So tricep extensions, working here for 5. Moving with control, 4. So deep breaths in and out, 3. Again, a really nice way to strengthen those muscles that help us with our low planks, 2. And 1, releasing there. From there, we're going to plant the left knee down on the mat. Right knee is forwards. And from there, we're going to go into a wood chop. So you can either take this with one or both weights. We're going to take the hands around the weights. We're going to take it to the left hip. We're going to sweep the hands over the head, bend the elbows. The weight comes to the opposite shoulder. And then we're going to slowly take it back again. So it's like we're swinging an axe. It's called a wood chopper. So we're taking weights from left hip. We're sweeping, we're rotating through the chest and bending the elbows, taking it over to the right shoulder. So you should be feeling a lovely hip flexor stretch as well here. Think about drawing the right foot back. Make sure you're not sinking down too far into the pelvis. You're aiming for stretch. We're working into the abdominals here. Getting some work for the shoulders, the rotator cuff as well. Working here, great job for 5. So moving with control, sweeping up and around, 4. Remember, try and make it smooth, try and make it controlled, 3. Nice job, 2. And 1, releasing there, finding your way back to a table there. So we're finding our way into table. Right hand is going to plant, and we're taking the left hand to the weight, strong through the core. From there, we're going to lift that left arm out and lower it. So we're taking almost like a fly or a lateral lift. We're slowly, move, control, lifting and lowering. If you need to have a little bend in the elbow, no worries. So we're thinking about, if you can, we're keeping that arm straight and lowering. You should feel loads of work here into the back, but do be mindful. We don't want to put ourselves in strain. So just slow lowers and lifts. And as before, if you're feeling fiery, you can take it up into a plank. So with lowering and lifting, keeping the core engaged, focusing on the spine staying long. Lift up to the side and lower. So again, a really nice way to strengthen the arms and the back. Working here for 5. So slow lowers and lifts, 4. Deep breaths in and out, 3. 2 and 1. Release that weight. Find your way to plank, and once again use the toes, move the body weight forwards, bending through the elbows, low plank. Inhale, up dog, strong core. Exhale, down dog, stretching out with the hips, long spine, chest through the arms. Take a moment, take a deep breath in, and bending the knees, hop to hands. Inhale, long flat back, stretching out. Exhale to fold. Grabbing your weights while you're down there. And from here, we're going to take a little chair with a full can. So we're going to sink to the bottom of our chair, knees over ankles, hips out behind us, strong core. Weights are in the hands, palms facing forwards. From there, we're going to stand up and we're going to draw a semicircle around. So bring the weights towards each other. And then we're going to come back to a chair, bringing the weights back to meet. So we're taking this little semicircle. Should feel like a really strong one for the arms. The arms are about 30 degrees to the line of the body. We're keeping the core engaged. We're feeling that power in the legs as we lower and lift. You might have the feet slightly further apart than in your normal chair if you need a little more space to find that power in the squat. So squeezing, opening out, strong core, and slowly returning back again. Great job. We're going to be here for 5. So working into the rotator cuff again, into the back. We're getting loads of work for the legs here. We're using that squeeze of the core to lift. 4. Great job. Almost there. 3. So slow lowers and squeeze lifts. 2. Great stuff. 1 more if you can. A little lower. And lift, squeeze, power on up. And release the arms there. Great job. Left foot is going to come forwards, right foot back. So again, we're finding a warrior 1. Left knee is over left ankle. We're powering into the outer edge of that right foot, thinking about really grounding down with the right heel and steering the hips to the front of the mat. So we're steering the hips down, slight tuck of the pelvis. Really focus on finding your strong, powerful warrior 1. So remember, you can give yourself more space. Make sure you can still see your big toe in front of you and make sure you're really pressing into the outer edge of that back foot. When you're ready, remember, weights can be together or apart. And what we're going to do is we're just going to keep the elbows tucked in. We're going to keep the legs powerful, and we're going to extend and release. So we're thinking about moving with control, working into those triceps, and really continue to feel that power in the legs here. So a little bit of a less challenging movement for the brain in here. We're just lifting and lowering. So this gives you loads of time to think about what's going on with our warrior 1. Keep that left foot grounded, that right foot powering forwards, the hips squaring. Awesome stuff. Working here for 5. Moving with control, lifting and lowering. 4. Elbows staying within the eyes range. 3. Feeling that burn. We're almost there. 2. And 1. Great job. Releasing the weights to the sides, dropping the right knee down and finding your way into a lunge. So you want to just slide that right foot back. So we're finding a lovely stretch of the hip flexor. The left foot is moving backwards. And when you're ready, we're going to take one or both weights into the hands. We're going to bring those hands over to the right hip. And then we're going to sweep up, rotate, taking those hands over. So you're taking that weight to the shoulder. And then we're returning again. So we're focusing on the sense of rotating through the waist. So we're working into the abdominals, into the obliques. We've got a nice bit of work for the shoulders as well. Think about lifting up and over. So it's almost this axe type motion, which is what we're aiming for. So a little lower, squeeze, and lift. We're getting this lovely stretch through the right hip flexor as well. Nice job, working here for 5. So lifting up and over. 4, you're doing really well. We've got 1 more warrior-based flow. 3, squeezing up and over. Strong core. 2. And 1, release. Planting the hands and the feet, finding your way into a table pose. And from there, we're going to plant the left hand down, and we're going to take that lateral lift, that little fly on the right side. So from our table, we're lifting the right hand up and over. Try not to rotate the body here. We're keeping the body squaring to the mat. We're lifting and lowering, almost like a little fly. Take it easy. You don't have to lift all the way up. If you need to have a little bend in the elbow, feel free. So you've always got options, working into the chest, into the back. And of course, if you feel like taking this into a full plank, feel free. Thinking about squeezing in the core, thinking about moving with control. Try not to drop the weight at the top. Try to keep that sense of moving up and down with control. Awesome stuff. Working here for 5. So with control, strong core, 4. So thinking about that core staying engaged. Knees is fine if you need to, but keep that strong abs. 3. So slow lowers and lifts. 2. Almost there. 1 more. And release. Whew. Find your way to plank. And find your way to down dog. Use the toes, move the body weight forwards. Up dog. And stretch all the way back. Downward facing dog. Nice work. Just take a moment, take a breath. 1 more little standing flow. Inhale, lift the hips high. Exhale, relax. Stretch out. From there, bend the knees, hop to hands. Inhale, find your long flat back, stretching out, reaching out. And exhale, fold. From there, you're grabbing your weights. And we're going to come up to standing. I'm going to move on to my lighter weights here. I might do that as well. So we're taking our right foot down, and we're going to move into a balance pose. We're going to find a tree. So the right foot is grounded, all 4 corners of the feet are grounded, the right quad is engaged. The left foot can either come onto stay on the floor, or it can stay low, or it can come high. As we're going to be moving through the upper body, I'm going to stay low today. So remember, you want to focus on stability. From there, we're going to take the elbows in line with the shoulders, keep the core engaged. We're going to squeeze the elbows together, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together as we bring them back. So squeezing in, and back, opening out through the chest. We're working into the back muscles, keeping those elbows and little cactus arms. Great job. Working here for 5. So lower, ooh, off I go. Working on balance as well. 4. Remember the core and the glutes and the quads are helping us out. 3. Looking great at home. 2. And 1. Step back with your left foot there. And we're finding warrior 2. So the right foot is facing forwards. We've got heel to inner arch alignment. Left foot is facing the long side of the mat. Hips and heart are facing the long side of the mat. And we're going to take the arms out wide. So warrior 2, we should be feeling a nice opening through the hip. Make sure this right knee isn't tracking in. You're moving it out slightly. From there, we're going to flip the grip. And we're going to take some nice bicep curls. So lifting and lowering. If that's too much, you can also take the weights lower. And you can work lower. And you can also just lose the back weight. Take that hand to the hip. And work the front one if you need to. So loads of options here. We're thinking about bicep curls. We've worked the triceps really hard today. And we'll just give the biceps a little bit of attention. Getting our lovely deep warrior 2 lunge here as well. Thinking about keeping the core engaged. Keep pressing into the outer edge of that back foot. Keep the left quad firing up. Working here for just 5. So lifting and lowering. Try not to rush it. As always, move with control. 3. Well done. 2. And 1, release. From there, we're going to lose the weights and take a triangle pose. Take the arms out wide and keeping that front leg straight this time, leaning forward. So stretch, 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 lean forward. And then we're just going to windmill the hands open, and we're finding a lovely stretch down the inside of this right leg. So keep powering into the outer edge of that left foot. Reach that left hand up to the sky, right hand to the earth, stretching out, reaching out, deep breaths in. And out, make sure that you're not sticking the bum out behind you. Keep the body lifted for 3. Inhaling, lovely open pose. 2. And 1, float up, windmill the hands down, and step your way back to a plank. From there, we are going to drop down to a table, Final little plank-based exercise, hands underneath the shoulders. So last exercise we took just a lift to the side. This time we're going to try and take a full rotation. So from table we're going to extend out into a side plank, and then we can return through center. So we're thinking about opening up to the sky, so we're taking a full rotation and back again. If you're taking this from a full plank, you just roll onto the outer edges of the feet, lift that hand up, slow lower. If it's too much, take this with a weight. You can always lose the weight. We're just opening up, stretching up, taking a full rotation. We're bringing the abs into play here. So you're feeling the abs fire up to help support that rotation. Working here for just 5. So lowering and lifting 4. Remember, you can be in a table as well. It's just opening up with control and returning 3, 2, and 1. Lose your weights and use the toes. Move the body weight forwards. Lower through low plank. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Hips up high, strong core. Taking a deep breath in and down. From there, bending the knees, hop to hands. Inhale, long flat back. Exhale to fold. Grabbing your weights. All right, final side here. We're going to move the weight into the left foot. And again, we're finding our tree pose. So remember, engaging the muscles, leg high, low, whatever works for you. And this time we're going to take front raises. So we're just going to lift the arms to shoulder height, strong core, and lower again, working into the shoulders. We're thinking about keeping that core engaged, lifting with control, lowering with control. Try and keep the shoulders down. Perfect, the spine long, moving with control, thinking about that breath. We're very close to being on the floor, working here for 3. So slow lowers and lifts. Try and focus on stabilizing that standing leg. I know those legs probably starting to get tired. 2, almost there. 1 more. And release there. Taking the weights to the heart, stepping the right foot back, left foot forwards, heel to inner arch alignment. That left knee is tracking over left ankle. We're really grounding down into the outer edge of that right foot. Thinking about taking the arms out wide. When we've got big wide stance, we're grounding down, pressing into the outer edge of that right foot. Thinking about lifting that right quad up. Left knee is tracking over left ankle. We flip the weights, and we're going to work, pump in some iron in our bicep curls. Option to come low. Option to lose the back one if you need to. So we're just thinking about extending and drawing the weights back in towards the shoulders and back again. Active legs, slow controlled movements, very close to the end. We've just got that triangle, that final plank, and then we're going to stretch and work abs to finish. So lifting and lowering, strong core, strong glutes for another 3. So not too much longer. 2. Almost there. And 1. Great job. Lose your weights and find your way to triangle. So left foot facing forwards, right foot is facing alongside the mat. Arms extend, reach, reach, reach out. And then when you reach your limit, just windmilling the hands open. Grounding down with the outer edges of both feet. Really reach and extend, stretch out, reach out. Find that stretch down the inside of the left leg, down the right side of the chest. Inhaling. Exhaling for 3. Deep breaths in. And out. Enjoy that lovely sense of space, of opening. 2. 1 more breath in. And out. Windmill the hands. Find your way back to a table or a plank. So as before, this time we're going to take the same movement of lifting, but we're going to rotate. So we're going to lift up and over into a side plank and then return again. Remember, if you want to lose the weights at this point, it can be quite a dynamic movement. So we're moving from a table, we're extending one leg, and then carefully returning. We're using the core. If you want to work from your plank instead, we're finding a plank, we're rotating, stretching open, strong core, returning back through center. So we're feeling that opening through the chest, really powering into the back body, and we're thinking about really powering into the abs to return back to a plank. Working here for 5, so slow and controlled. 4, squeeze and lift, press on up with the hips. 3, almost there. 2, 1 more if you can. Stretch up, reach up, and release. Great job. Find your way back to table, and from there we're going to take a shoulder stretch. So we're going to just plant the right hand down and just clear yourself a space, and left hand up to the sky. Inhale, exhale, bring your left shoulder down onto the mat, the right hand out in front of you. Just have a little wiggle around, a little stretch around. Find somewhere that feels good for you. And breathe into that shoulder, breathe into that stretch. Inhaling. Exhaling. Well done for 3. Deep breaths in. And out. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Come back through center there. Left hand plants, right hand lifts. Inhale, reaching up, stretching up. And exhale, right shoulder comes down. So reaching forwards with that left hand. Have a little wiggle out, a little stretch out. Awesome stuff. So reaching out long for 3. Shimmy yourself around. Find somewhere that feels good for you. Deep breaths in and out. 2. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. And from there, come back through center. And we're just going to swing both legs out in front of us and find our way into a double leg forward fold. So nice and easy, soft bend through the knees. Inhale, reaching up, angling the body forward, starting to shimmy the hips out behind you. And we're finding our way into a double leg forward fold. You might want to let the whole of the back body relax here. We've worked the upper body really hard. We've got into the abs, we've got into the legs. So just letting yourself flop now. Have a little stretch out. Inhale, moving the body weight long. So feel the rib cage move towards the knees. Stretch. And relaxing down. Inhaling. Exhaling. Just lengthening out through the lower back here, through the hammies for another 3. So breathing away in here, deep breaths in. And out, 2. 1 more, inhale. Exhale. And from there, grounding down, make sure you've got your weights to hand, and we're just going to roll on down and move into our final little ab sequence. So taking your weights in the sky. Remember, you can lose the weights at this point if you need to. And we're just going to take a weighted reverse curl. So palms are in the sky, hands are in the sky. We're going to squeeze the core to lift the pelvis off the mat and lower it again. So squeeze the abs. We're focusing on stabilizing the upper body, pressing the weights up to the sky, and we're getting that really lovely squeeze through the core, working into the lower abs here. So squeezing to lift and slow lower. So strong through the core. Working here for just 10. So squeeze, lift, try to keep control. 9. So think about that. Squeeze. 8. Well done. 7. So this should feel like a pure abdominal contraction, like you bring the top of the hips up to the lower rib cage. 3. Almost there. 2. 1 more. And release. From there, we're going to take the weights in the air and the knees over the hips. So the weights are palms are facing together, lower back is on the floor. From there, we're going to extend the legs out as we take the arms wide, and then we're going to return back in. So this is our coordination fly. So we're taking a fly with the arms, so we're opening the arms out wide, and we're taking the legs out as we do that, squeezing in the core, make sure the lower back stays on the floor. If that's too much, you can just extend the legs out and in. You can lose the arms as well. If you want more, you can take chin to chest, squeeze the core to lift the shoulders off the mat, and we're working with the shoulders off the mat, just squeezing in, returning back through center. So remember, lower back on floor. If the shoulders are off the mat, you're using the muscles of the abs to lift the shoulders. We're not straining the neck. We're opening out through the chest and returning back through center with control. Great job. So extending and drawing back. We're very close to the end now, just one more exercise after this. Working here for 5. So squeeze and power in, working to the abs. 4. Well done. 3. 2. 1 more. And release. Awesome stuff. From there, we are going to work, I think it's my favorite weighted abs exercise ever. It's a very similar movement. This time the knees are going to start out over the hips, lower back on the floor, and we're going to move arms and legs away from each other. So arms go over the head, and then we're returning back through center. So overhead pull. So keeping the lower back on the floor. If you need to lose the arms, feel free. You can just work the legs. If you want more, you can take chin to chest, work with the shoulders off the mat, squeezing in the core, driving in. If you want more, again, legs in the air, chin to chest, and we're moving arms and legs away from each other, taking a really long lever there, really working the abs, and then coming back through center. So loads of options. Shoulders can be down, legs can be straight or bent, arms just coming overhead just as much as you can. Back again. So when arms and legs move away from each other, those abs really have to fire up to stabilize the body. Working here for just another 5. We're almost there. Chin to chest. 4. Arms overhead, stretching out. 3. Squeeze the core. 2. 1 more. And release. Woo! All right, give yourself a little stretch. And we've got time for a little supine pigeon. Left ankle onto right knee, and take a little stretch out there. So taking the hands underneath that right knee or to the back of the right thigh. Lovely big stretch down the back of the left leg. Shoulders relaxed, spine is long. Steady flow with the breaths in. And so full breaths into that left leg, into the glutes. For 3, inhaling. Exhaling. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And swapping over there. Right ankle to left knee. Have a little stretch. You're taking the hands through to the back of that left leg or the left knee. Probably feeling like that right leg's done quite a lot of work. Just giving a little stretch out. So we're aiming to feel a sensation of stretch through the back of the right leg, down the back of the right leg. Shoulders are relaxed. Deep breaths in. And stretching in there. Inhaling. Exhaling. For 3, deep breaths in. And out. 2. 1 more inhale. And exhale, release. From there, give yourself a little squeeze, a little stretch, and rock up to seated when you're ready. So finding your way to a nice, comfortable seat to finish. Beautiful. When you're ready, inhale, reach up, stretch up, and exhale the hands back to heart center, taking a final full deep breath in. And out. And have a super lovely rest of your day. Thanks very much for joining. Namaste. Great job, team. Well done.